Hi, my name is Doug with A2IT Engineering, and today I want to show off my hand miter saw setup. So this is using a Nobex miter saw. I think they're out of Sweden or something. So just in general, I always prefer hand powered if possible, for multiple reasons. I don't like the noise, I don't like the danger, I have bad luck with injuries. So I've spent many years sort of fine-tuning this setup with this miter saw. So of course I bought this miter saw, but that's one small aspect to what I'm about to show you, to how I incorporated it into an entire hand sawing powerhouse system that I hope you'll enjoy. So a lot of details here as usual. One of the first things is that I have this saw mounted to a dresser. So this is actually my childhood dresser. My parents gave it to me after I graduated college. Oh, hey, I'll use it for the base. So I filled it with a bunch of just heavy metal stuff, a bunch of big bolts and lags and screws and pulleys and a bunch of heavy metal stuff. Then I bolted the Nobex, the saw. Basically, it's fastened into the table, so it's you can see it's screwed into this board here, and then the board is bolted into the dresser. And so why is this dresser heavy? Well, it's so you have a solid base. If I'm sawing back and forth, if the saw catches and the dresser is rocking, that means I'm losing energy. So when this is hand powered, so it's all about efficiency. You don't want to be losing energy. If the dresser is moving, that means you're losing energy. Another aspect to this saw being locked down, please come around to the back here. So you notice this big structural pole support here. I have actually used a pipe clamp to further stabilize this whole system. So the pipe clamp is you screw it down, it tightens into these eye screws that are screwed into the baseboard that the saw is attached to. So this thing is, suffice to say, this is locked down. That's one important detail. And you can see that the saw blade goes right past this support post. So it's centered as much as possible on the support post to limit any kind of torque situation that would go on. And while we're back here, you can see I've hung some clamps, and I'll demonstrate the saw in a second. You'll see where these come in. I also have a spare saw blade. This is a fine blade. There's two blades for this thing. Well, there's more than two, but I use two. I use a rough blade and a fine blade. Rough blade for like sawing 2x4s and pressure treated, big pressure treated wood and stuff, and then the fine blade for like if you're making a picture frame, something like that. I have a nice little pencil with a string tied around it so it goes in the hole. A lot of nice little details here to make this a very convenient system to use. What else? I guess I can get down to some sawing action. Let's say I wanted to saw this piece of wood, but I had to saw it like 20 times to the exact same length every time. So that's going to be kind of a pain if you're measuring and marking the piece of wood every time. So how about you come over here with the camera? So I want to just cut it a little bit off every single time. So how can we do that? Well, I have my little this little piece of wood hanging off the saw here, and I also have an offset. So an offset is going to be custom to whatever you're sawing. So I pop it right there, then I use this thing to sort of flush it to a certain length. Okay? Then I use one of my handy clamps to so we tighten it in there. Then look, we have a consistent offset. So I can cut 30 of these things without measuring anything. So I will just pop this in. Yeah. get a good wide base, athletic stance, heels grounded. We can also, the Nobex comes with little clamps of its own that I can use in this situation. So I can clamp this piece of wood down if I want. I mean, for this particular piece, I could probably just squeeze it in there. Again, you have another clamp if you want to. So this thing is locked down, precise. I can just go at it now with abandon. Okay, so you have, yeah, that's it. Dismantle it. Another thing is, what if you wanted to cut a long piece of wood? Well, you only have a little bit of surface area here. So that's why I have this Tupperware container conveniently located. It doubles as a storage location. So that can hold the balance while you're, for longer pieces of wood. Now also, what if I want to cut to a specific depth, right? I've cut to a specific offset with my little offset system using this thing. But for a specific depth, I have this little baggie underneath with a bunch of different washers and spacers. So let's say I use these spacers here. You can slip the saw off for a second. I pop these spacers onto the runners, the metal runners. Boom, put the saw back on. Lock ourselves in here. All right, now the saw is going to stop at a certain depth. See, I cannot saw any further. This is good for if you want to like make another cut right here and maybe chisel out a little a groove or a notch. So that's that. Oh yeah, other than that, like with this saw, of course, you can do angled cuts. So that's another nice feature. If I'm doing a lot of pieces of wood, always remember to switch hands. So I was just using my right hand, but I always, cut one piece of wood with one hand, switch. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you purchased a saw and set it up similar to this. So please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.